The Commander-in-Chief Ball was an evening of grandeur and significance, with dignitaries, military leaders, and officials gathered under one roof. Yet among the powerful names in attendance, it was a single quiet moment that captured the hearts of millions. The spotlight turned to U.S. Army Sergeant John Davis, a career soldier stationed at Fort Carson, Colorado, as he stepped onto the polished dance floor. His steady composure belied the whirlwind of thoughts racing through his mind. A man accustomed to the hum of helicopters and the weight of a rucksack now stood in the heart of Washington, D.C., preparing for a moment unlike any he had experienced. Dressed in an immaculate uniform, John extended his hand to First Lady Melania Trump, who approached with grace and poise, her white gown flowing as she moved. The cameras zoomed in, the music swelled, and the room fell into a hushed anticipation. As their hands met, the world seemed to pause, and the two began their dance. To the millions watching from home, this wasn't just a tradition. It was a symbol of unity in a time of division, a moment that transcended politics and reminded the nation of its shared humanity. For John, however, it was deeply personal. The honor of representing countless service members filled him with pride, but also an overwhelming sense of responsibility. The dance was brief, yet its impact was profound. It marked the beginning of a journey that would challenge and change John's life in ways he could never have anticipated. As the applause erupted and the dance ended, John unknowingly became a symbol of hope and connection, his story destined to inspire many in the years to come. For Sergeant John Davis, the Commander-in-Chief Ball was an experience far removed from the routine of military life. As a career soldier stationed at Fort Carson, Colorado, he was more familiar with the hum of helicopters and the camaraderie of his unit than the glitz of a high-profile event. Yet, on that night, he found himself in the national spotlight, chosen to share the first dance with First Lady Melania Trump. Standing off to the side of the Grand Hall, John adjusted his uniform for the 100th time, his mind racing. The magnitude of the moment pressed heavily on his shoulders. He wasn't just dancing as John Davis was there, as a representative of all service members across the country. Every movement, every step seemed to carry the weight of his fellow soldiers' expectations. Despite his composed exterior, nerves coursed through him. Would he falter in front of the cameras? Would his performance live up to the honor of being chosen? He silently ran through the steps in his mind. Right, left, pause, don't overthink it. Keep your shoulders relaxed. When the moment came, and he extended his hand to the First Lady, her calm demeanor and kind smile helped ease some of the tension gripping his chest. As they danced, the world seemed to blur around him. The lights, cameras, and the hundreds of eyes watching faded into the background, replaced by the soft rhythm of the music and the focus on each step. Though the dance lasted only a few minutes, it felt both timeless and fleeting to John. It was a moment of honor and pride, but also one of immense vulnerability. For a soldier unaccustomed to such attention, the experience was as humbling as it was overwhelming. In the grandeur of the Commander-in-Chief Ball, the first dance between Sergeant John Davis and First Lady Melania Trump became a moment etched in the collective consciousness of a divided nation. While the tradition of a ceremonial dance at such events is long-standing, this particular night carried a significance that transcended mere formality. As John, a career soldier, extended his hand to the First Lady, the simplicity of their movements took on profound meaning. The soft rhythm of the music and their deliberate steps created an atmosphere of quiet grace, drawing the attention of millions watching from home. In a nation grappling with divisions, this dance became a rare moment of connection and image of unity in the face of discord. For viewers, it wasn't just a dance between two individuals. It was a powerful representation of the bond between the military and civilian leadership. It reminded the audience of the sacrifices made by service members and their families, and underscored the importance of shared values and respect. The image of John, steady and composed, symbolized the discipline and dedication of countless soldiers who serve in silence, away from the spotlight. The dance resonated deeply across the nation. News outlets hailed it as a symbol of hope. Social media lit up with clips and commentary, and discussions emerged about the humanity behind the uniform. For those watching, it was a fleeting but poignant reminder that even in times of division, moments of grace and connection could inspire unity. Beyond the grand hall, the symbolism of the dance lingered. It became more than a highlight of the evening. It was a reflection of what the nation could aspire to, finding harmony amidst differences and celebrating the resilience of its people. The applause still echoed in Sergeant John Davis's ears as he stepped off the dance floor. The brief but profound moment he shared with First Lady Melania Trump at the Commander-in-Chief Ball had concluded, but its impact was only beginning to unfold. Everywhere John turned, he was met with congratulations and admiration. Fellow soldiers clapped him on the back, offering grins and playful comments. "You looked like you belonged up there, Davis," one remarked with pride. Cameras flashed, strangers extended their hands, and unfamiliar faces offered kind words. The attention extended far beyond the room. John's phone buzzed incessantly with messages from family and friends back home. His mother's text read, "I am so proud of you, baby," while his sister sent a blurry screenshot from the television with the caption, "Our very own hero." Social media platforms erupted with clips of the dance, with hashtags celebrating John and the symbolism of the moment. News outlets dubbed the dance a symbol of unity, and headlines praised John's composure and grace under pressure. Yet not all the attention felt comfortable. Some articles speculated on the deeper meaning of the event, framing it as a political statement, while others scrutinized his role in the evening's proceedings. The weight of public expectation began to press on him. The overwhelming buzz left John feeling conflicted. While he was proud to represent his fellow soldiers, the spotlight was unfamiliar and unsettling. He had never sought fame. His life was defined by routine, discipline, and service centered by public acclaim. As the days passed, John began to realize that his brief moment on the dance floor had transformed him into more than a soldier. He was now a public figure, carrying both the pride of recognition and the pressure of representation. The dance with First Lady Melania Trump had thrust Sergeant John Davis into an unexpected spotlight. While the initial wave of admiration was gratifying, the fame that followed soon became a double-edged sword. Among his fellow soldiers, the reactions were mixed. Many supported and celebrated him, proud to see one of their own representing the armed forces with such dignity. However, others weren't as kind. "Guess we're just background players in the Sergeant Davis show now," one peer joked during training, the sting of resentment thinly veiled. John brushed off such comments, but the subtle shift in camaraderie was undeniable. He was no longer just another soldier, he was now the guy who danced with the First Lady. The media frenzy only added to his struggles. Requests for interviews poured in, with reporters eager to learn more about his life and experience. Some articles labeled him as America's poster soldier, while others speculated that he had been handpicked to make a political statement. Headlines exaggerated his actions, and journalists began probing into his personal life, seeking sensational stories. John found it difficult to reconcile the public's perception with the simple reality of who he was, a soldier who had been asked to perform a duty. Balancing his military identity with public expectations became an ongoing challenge. His life, once defined by routine and discipline, now felt dictated by external pressures. The demands of the spotlight left him questioning how to honor his newfound platform while staying true to himself. What weighed heaviest was the sense of responsibility. He felt the need to represent not just himself, but also his fellow service members, even as the attention left him longing for the anonymity he once took for granted. The spotlight, as bright as it was, carried a heavy cost. When Sergeant John Davis was invited to speak at a military appreciation dinner in Dallas, he initially saw it as another obligation tied to his newfound fame. Standing before a large crowd, nerves crept in as he recounted his now famous dance with First Lady Melania Trump. But as he looked out at the audience, something shifted. He noticed their expressions, veterans, families, and civilians alike hanging on his every word. After his speech, an older woman approached him, her eyes brimming with tears. "My husband served in Vietnam," she said, her voice trembling. "He never got the recognition he deserved. Seeing you out there means the world to people like us." Her words struck John deeply, helping him realize that his platform was more than an obligation. It was an opportunity to honor those who had come before him and those who continued to serve. Inspired by that encounter, John began saying yes to more speaking opportunities. He shifted the focus from himself to the stories of his fellow service members, the ones who sacrificed in silence, whose heroism often went unnoticed. Whether speaking at schools, veteran events, or corporate gatherings, John used his voice to amplify the struggles and resilience of military families, combat veterans, and those transitioning back into civilian life. Through his journey, John came to understand the true power of humility and connection. The dance, once a fleeting moment in the spotlight, became the foundation of a greater mission, to uplift others and inspire unity. John's experience reminded him and those he touched that meaningful impact comes not from personal recognition, but from using one's platform to serve others. His story became a beacon of hope and a testament to the power of shared humanity.